Oh my god, are you watching porn all by yourself? So a little while ago, I left a community post on my channel, a little bit of YouTube trying to get into the blog space. Are you having a laugh? And the query that I posted was, what are your cringiest magic stories making a video? So today what I thought I'd do is I'd go through your cringiest magic stories and make a video. Now, it goes without saying that magic and cringe go hand in hand together. They're almost one. It's like peanut butter and my uncle's improv master here. It comes together like peanut butter and childhood regrets. So anyways, let's just take a look at some of your stories and see if we could come together as a community. The first one here is from Million Card Tricks, who has his own channel. He does his own tutorials. You could see that he's important because he has that nice little check mark next to its name, which I don't have, but that's fine. The point of this video is not to be jealous. It's to read stories. So here's his. It says, years ago, I once tried an original trick on some senior citizens. I overlooked how complex the process was, and it was a total mess because by the end reveal, they had absolutely no recollection of their card. Should have seen that one coming. This is a trap that we fall into as magicians, where we assume that the audience is going to be as involved as we were in coming up with the trick. And also it goes without saying that performing for the old is another challenge in and of itself, because you have to cut through the amount of fiber they're consuming on a daily basis just so they could take normal bowel movements. That changes a person, man. A lot of fiber, Metamucil, that changes you. So trying to cut through that and perform a long-winded card trick, you should have known. And hopefully this was a lesson for you, Million Card Tricks, in that old people are irrelevant. W Swim here, who's a longtime fan of the channel. Shout out to the PigCake community. He has a story here that says, when I first started magic, I wanted to show anyone and everyone, even if I had the trick ready to go. I showed a coworkers a simple double lift trick, and they called me out on it. It was awesome. That's the thing about magic tricks, unfortunately. You're going to have to do a trial by fire. You're going to get caught, and it's going to be embarrassing. And how you deal with that is really going to determine your future, not only as a magician, but as a person. I have to imagine that somewhere down the line, the BTK killer decided, hey, I'm going to do some card tricks, and failed miserably, which is why he did what he did. And getting caught during a sleight is also pretty rough, because imagine you're trying to do something sneaky, and somebody goes, ha, no, I see 2 cards. You lifted 2 cards there, buddy, and you go, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Because your instinct as a person is to lie immediately. And they go, no, look, I could see them. There are 2 of them. There are 2 of them. Well, hopefully you learned a valuable lesson there, W Swim, in that nobody should be a magician. Dylan, with an avatar of some sort of weird anime character with a frog mask, says, once I was drunk performing magic, but I was doing absolutely terrible. I like how you say, but I was doing absolutely terrible, as if it's in opposition of the first part of your sentence, which is, once I was drunk performing magic. It's almost a given that you'd be performing terribly. They saw my double lifts, and I kept on forgetting what I was doing. I also remember palming a card and seeking it, maybe you're drunk now, into the wrong pile. But yeah, I can't remember how it ended. Now, drinks and magic only work when the audience is hammered. That's the best, because you have this situation where they're foggy and they're going to react to things that really didn't happen. There's a video I saw on TikTok recently of David Blaine performing at a club for someone, and he does a very basic trick. We've all seen it, double cross. But one of the patrons there reacts before anything happens. So I'm going to leave that video for you guys to check out at your leisure. And look at the comments. I left one. I left a comment saying the exact thing that I just told you guys. Why is that guy reacting before anything happened? Zeneb Rem says, never told my wife I did magic, went to meet her parents for the first time, and first thing her dad did was a rubber band trick. Now, there are layers here. There are definite layers here, in that I still have the hypothesis that you should never let your significant other know that you do magic tricks unless you're married. Because when you're married, you have to go through a lot of litigation, a lot of paperwork in order to actually separate. Whereas when you're just dating, she could just leave. So if you're trying to court a woman into marriage and you're a magician and you want to get married, I suggest lying. Tell her you're a SoundCloud rapper, anything other than a magician. Sean Devine chimes in, a longtime member of the PigCake community, has a channel of his own. I suggest for you guys to check it out. It's fun stuff, magic tutorials, you know what it is. I'd hit it. Sean says, about 10 years ago, I worked as a telemarketer, and everyone got news that I did magic. Oof. Inevitably, they all came up to me at lunch and asked to see something. I thought it would be brilliant to ask someone for $20 and to make it vanish. Vanished meaning I just walked out of the room and said it's gone. About a minute later, I walked back in and everyone was still standing there, just confused. I gave the $20 back and they never asked to see any more magic. Admittedly, I still feel embarrassment when I relive that moment. I can't tell you how many times it happens to me where I'm just randomly sitting down doing something, editing a video, on the grind, and I just look up and remember an embarrassing moment and I just call myself a loser. Of course, I don't just call myself a loser. I call myself all the words that are banned by YouTube in order. Well, hopefully with the power of hindsight being 2020, Sean, you realize that you should have never gone back in the room. You should have left, gotten in your car and left and moved away and changed your name. Then they would still be talking to this day about that one time that they had a magician in the office and he made a money disappear and he just left and nobody ever heard of him again. We've all been there, man. The only thing you could do is embrace your virginity and keep moving forward and then hope that they've all died simultaneously in a plane crash. Tigger, with a T, says, I tried to do Weak by Perseus and I was caught instantly. The guy just said that the card felt too thick and didn't even try to rip it. I assume you're talking about a trick where you hand a person a card and you have them rip it and they can't rip it. And in this case, they didn't even want to try because they felt the card was too thick. Almost reminds me of my penis. Ha, right? My dick. Francesco Zecca actually has a doozy here. He says, it was when I actually lost the spectator's card because I messed up a control and they did not believe me when I said, sorry guys, let's try again. I think I messed up. And they went, oh man, come on with the silly acting. We know you know where the card is. But actually I couldn't. It was embarrassing. From that moment on, if it happens, I take the invisible deck out, make them say out loud the name of the card. And I say, I'll try not to find it in this deck. It'd be so easy. Let me find it in another deck that has been in view the entire time and I haven't even touched it. Which is a good out, but requires you to carry an invisible deck and requires you to mess up a card trick and requires people to be willing enough to watch a performance. So really, what's happening here? Is this really the downfall of society? I think magicians carrying an invisible deck really is a telltale sign of the end times coming near. Because if we keep unraveling this enigma, we're just going to find desperation, sadness, and loneliness contained here within. Somehow I feel like it's a metaphor for deeper meaning. The magician carries an extra prop in order to impress the audience. The audience is willing to sit through a performance of a magic trick that may or may not go wrong. The individual members of the audience have their own problems, their own things that they have to deal with. They can't just carry an extra prop and deal with their problems in their workplace. When Samantha goes back to the strip club and tries to use makeup to cover up her pregnancy scars, you think that that's going to be her out? You think we can't see the fact that her foundation is flaking? I honestly don't know where I was going with that. Darcy Zhang says, I did a card force and used 1 whole minute of pure acting to reveal the card. After the card is revealed, the spectator told me that she spotted the card force from the very beginning. That 1 minute of, I think your card is a black card because it's so cringe to the audience because she understood how the trick worked. Ooh. That reminds me of this clip right here. Yeah, that one. So that somewhat ties into the one that I just previously read as well, because there's nothing worse than going through this whole process, this whole rigmarole of, oh, all right, think of your card. Look at me. Look at me. All right, yeah, I see a black card. Yeah, your card's black, right? Yeah, that's what I thought based on what I'm looking at here. And if from the very beginning they know that that card is just something that you made them pick. Ooh. This person, his name is Wes Bisiglia. I feel like if I said that name enough, my furniture would start levitating. I've used that joke so many times. He says, my Omni deck fell out my back pocket and broke in front of everyone. Now, I don't think this is cringe. I think this was God. This was God himself, God herself, Lord knows in 2022. This was God leaving you a message to stop doing the Omni deck. It's overused, it's overplayed, we get it, you could see through the deck. But if anybody just places the card on top of the deck, they realize, oh, you just switched it for this little glass block that looks like a deck. So I would take that as a sign, my friend. Move on. Please don't get involved in an Omni deck routine where now the pen turns clear, and then the card box turns clear, and then the cards turn clear, and then you turn clear, and then I die inside. Finnegan McBride drops a banger here. He says, I accidentally forced the wrong card, and I knew the trick was doomed, but I continued for the next 5 minutes, even though I knew the entire time that the reveal wouldn't work. My friend, that's anal without lube. I don't know why you just didn't press the eject button. I was going to say the abort button, but Lord knows that's a very dicey topic these days. Finnegan, I don't know why you just didn't press the abort button and just left. What are you talking about? Why would you do that to yourself? Especially knowing that it wasn't going to go right. Instead, you decide, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to chug along. And what routine is 5 minutes where you have to force a card and at the end you reveal it? I'm sure it's hyperbole, but holy shit. And this ties into the other one of the guy going through the whole deal, reading the mind. I think that one's worse. You actually got off better because it just looks like you're a goof. Whereas he got caught forcing a card. Ugh. Need Account 94 says, when I was about 5, my mom took me to a birthday party for a coworker of hers kid. Very good grammar there. There was a magician there, and I remember thinking he was pretty bad. Well, he sets up the saw a person in half trick, but all he did was throw a blanket over 4 folding chairs. So in my 5-year-old head, I thought he was going to fuck up the trick, and I cried for 5 minutes, begging him to stop, and he had to end his act. The other kids were really into it, and I ruined it for him. My friend, Need Account 94, you did a service. You should be commemorated. Semper Fi, soldier. You saved what could be potentially dozens of kids from getting into a life of magic tricks, inspired by a lonely loser virgin magician that was trying to do the saw and half trick at a birthday party. Or what do you think, you're Copperfield? What do you think, you're gonna get scouted? Huh? Somebody's gonna be randomly driving by, Penn and Teller, and they're gonna go, whoa, wait a second, let's watch this, and then hire you to get on their tour? That's not how it works. So you, my friend, deserve a Medal of Honor for your valiant effort in stopping a magician from partaking in magic. Edge has a really good one here. My dad was walking down the street and turned into a drugstore. Did he turn into a drugstore? Or did he turn into a drugstore? Right? Stormy says, I work at a gas station and I don't speak Spanish. I do magic for most of the kids that come in with their parents. Spanish kids just fucking stare at me because they don't understand what I'm saying. Makes it super awkward. That's because they're stealing. That's because they're stealing. They're hoping that you're distracted enough with the card trick that you don't catch them stealing. I once showed a magic trick for my crush, and when I asked her to pick a card, her hand gently grazed mine. I instantly came on my pants and finished the trick like nothing happened. Redbeard says, my fiance caught me watching PigCake. I had to apologize to her and her boyfriend. It was embarrassing. Oh, the old swing set, I see. The upside down pineapple, you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, Redbeard. Your fiance caught you watching PigCake and she's like, yo, who's that? He's cute. We should get him in one of our parties. You know what I'm saying? Turn that red beard into a white beard. I'm really sorry. I apologize for that. I know that was a terrible joke, and I honestly can't believe I've gone this long. Jonathan Rosario says, buy more Bitcoin. And then the last one here is by Alex, just Alex, that says, instead of the old faithful card to pocket, I did card to boxer shorts for my sister-in-law, and I had to get the boyo out in front of everyone to prove that I was right. Only problem, it was after Christmas dinner. I think that's a good one to end it on, my friends. Magic is cringe overall. I hope you see the redundancy of magic and cringe. It's the same thing, right? You take that picture from Pam in the office, you put magic and cringe, and you go, oh, what am I looking at? It's the same picture. But thank you guys for watching. I really do hope that you appreciate me appreciating you, just like Nancy Pelosi appreciates her insider information right before she buys stocks.
I see you again, when 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 I see you again.